Good morning, Auntie Babies. I am here with the Kenny Lattimore. Thanks for having me and welcome to Shreveport.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
No
I
problem.
appreciate it.
I'm honored and privileged.
Thank you.
So I have a few questions for you today,
Sure.
as I know you have a live recording coming to Shreveport, Louisiana.
Mhm.
So my first question is this your first time performing in Shreveport?
It is. It's actually my first performance in Shreveport ever. I thought, hey, we need to make some history. So let's do something really different. So this is going to be a full live recording where Shreveport will be on this album. The energy that this audience gives me is what the rest of the world will feel and hear as a part of this recording.
Okay. And what made you choose Shreveport?
Well, my wife is from here, so I've been spending more time here. I've been spending quite a bit of time here. We have a 2-year-old daughter,
Okay.
and when you have a 2-year-old in those early stages, you want to be surrounded with family and love, and we've done that. So she's been here bonding with her auntie and uncles and cousins and all that. And during that time period, I've been here just kind of taking it all in and relaxing. And my wife and I were just talking about it, and I had made some new great friends here who suggested a few theaters, and we went out, we visited a couple places, but when we got to the Strand, and I looked around in that theater, I said, this is the place. This is going to give people a reason to get dressed up, and come out the house and have a really elegant evening. So I'm excited about it.
I love that. Shreveport is on the rise for media, entertainment, all that kind of stuff. So I think that this was the perfect location to make some history because we're on the market to making history.
Yeah.
Make Shreveport great again.
Yeah.
Okay. What can the Arklatek or Shreveport and the Arklatek expect from the live recording?
One, I think people will be surprised because I grew up singing various genres of music. So it's going to be a lot broader than just an R&B show. I'm going to talk about my musical history, excuse me. And the biggest story is that my mother discovered I could sing when I was 12 years old. I was deathly shy. And music gave me the voice and the purpose that allowed me to grow into who I'm supposed to be as opposed to who I was holding on to be. And what people probably they won't expect, but I mean we're going from classical to jazz and American songbook to R&B and pop, all of these things together to tell a story of how music inspired me to have the career that I have.
You would think the way I'm gonna ask these questions that we rehearsed this, but this is live and we did not. And my next question would be, who inspires you and what is your inspiration behind your music?
Oh wow. You know what? I am inspired by education and my faith, honestly. The reason why I say education is because I've learned to be a student to music and have the humility to learn from the next generation, because it is the next generation that allowed me to have the longevity. There's some young people who you may have been 5 years old when For You came out, or not even born, but then all of a sudden at 25 you discover this song and you hear these words and you go, wow, this means something to me, and it lives again, and it's like the cycle starts all over again, like the new adults. So I was talking to a young man, and he said, I can honor your legacy, but at the same time, I can write songs and things that will attach you to the next generation. And we started recording songs, and I had number one year before last, Take a Dose, because of the young people producing. Then I had a number 4 song this past year, and it's just been growing like that because of allowing myself to be a student all over again. So those kind of influences are huge. And the other reason when I say faith is because there are lots of things that can be discouraging to young people coming up. But my faith allowed me to stay within purpose. And the musical purpose has always been to sing to the hearts of women and the minds of men, to encourage them in love. That's something that God gave me years ago when because there's also a time when you can reach a certain level of success and feel like you start to feel like, okay, what's left? What's next? And Oprah Winfrey used to say, dream a new dream. I sat and I prayed and I just said, God, can you help me to define my legacy? And when that whole thing about singing to the hearts of women and the minds of men to encourage and love came, it would ground me because I didn't, and you may feel like you get up in the morning and we might like what we do, but every day you do not feel like, we get our feelings. We don't, as human beings, we don't feel like, I want to do this thing. Oh, I'm gonna go sing this song today because I feel the same. No, you feel different every day. But when you think about purpose, you center yourself in that. And there were days when I had to talk to myself. I don't feel like going on the stage right now because of what? Somebody didn't handle my money right, or didn't do the deal right, or something, whatever. But I have to remain in purpose. These people are here, and I have a ministry to give to them. So I have to be like, to the hearts of women and the minds of men, God. To the hearts of women and I go in, and actually, it would kind of brighten me. It would change my demeanor and my whole feel for, again, that purpose, so that I would be able to operate in that authentically in the moment and do what I'm supposed to do.
I love that, Mr. Kenny. I'm gonna have to take that with me as I go through 2025 because I guess I've been the purpose. That hasn't been on my mind. It's like I'm tired. I don't want to do it. I'm mad. I'm hurt. I'm sad. So I'm gonna use purpose.
What is God's purpose? Yeah. What's the whole purpose?
It's the purpose.
Yeah. And if you stay in that purpose, you can do it for a long time because you'll love it. You're reminded why you fell in love with it in the first place.
I needed that. So maybe Mr. Kenny was sent for me today.
Hey.
I have one more question for you.
Sure.
I'm going to let you get out of here. I know you have a lot coming up. I think you need your rest because I need some too.
You gotta take care of myself.
You're classified as an R&B singer with a smooth, soulful voice.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe your music?
Wow. It is sincere soul music. Yeah, I think my music it has a depth, and now people expect the depth. I didn't realize that was going to happen to me, where people are like, wait a minute, what is he talking about in this next song? And I'm like, wait a minute, what am I talking about? Because I got into lyrics. It was a big deal to my mom, who was my manager and my greatest support coming up. Always think about the power of what you're saying and what you're giving to people, because you're speaking life into them and you're speaking something. So I used to be like, wow. So as I would write songs and all of that, as long as I stayed within something that was inspirational, I felt like, gosh, there's this power. I'm handling it well. So let me tell me the question one more time, because I don't want to lose. I want to make sure I answer
No, you're
well.
fine. How would you describe your music?
How would I describe the music? Yeah, I would describe it as sincere soul, because with me remaining true in that purpose of the lyric and all of that, touching the hearts of people, then I would try to make sure that the music complemented. And it has not been easy. When I really became dedicated to the lyric and everything being exactly what it was supposed to be, everybody doesn't always understand your dream. They don't always understand your purpose.
Right.
And when you are sometimes walking alone, you can get laughed at. You can get anything, people just are like, you gotta be kidding. Don't you want this to happen to you? Don't you want that to happen to you? And it's like, yeah, I do want certain types of what we call success in the world, but I also want to be able to sleep at night.
Right.
I want to have peace in my life, because there's certain things that money can't buy. And so sincere soul to me encompasses all of that it is music that is true and touches the heart and soul.
I like those answers. I want to thank you for coming and letting me interview you, for giving me this opportunity. I'm sure my parents would be very proud. Their 25th wedding anniversary song was you.
Thank you. For you.
For you. And I remember the moment the room was like we were having a good old time. We were kind of like in a party setting, and then they dedicated the song. Well, my mom dedicated it to my dad, and immediately, like everybody was in tears.
Oh,
And she was
wow,
crying. My dad doesn't cry. I've seen my dad cry twice my entire life, and she was just mouthing the words to him, and he was bawling. And I was like, "Is he crying?"
Wow.
So it's definitely soulful
Wow.
soul music. So I thank you for that because they
That's
don't really
powerful.
listen to music outside of gospel.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to find a song that they actually enjoy and they'll play it, I'm like, oh, okay. So,
I love it. I love
yes.
it. That's a powerful thing for me. But know that that song is dripping with God's anointing. It is. It is. It has had a purpose, and and was prophesied before it even came. And that's a whole different story we'll get into in another interview. But it really was. Every song that I sing, you know, a lot of thought and prayer and time goes into whether I'll even touch it. And I'm grateful that the consistency of my legacy has allowed the next generation, like I was mentioning, to know, because I've definitely had songs given to me and I was like, almost, you know, almost but no cigar, as they call it, close but no cigar. But, and then I've met young producers who just are like, okay, we get it. They studied and they understood, and they say, we understand what your legacy is. And it's almost like this one producer, I tell you, Madison out of Houston, he gets it every time. And he has written probably 6 of my last top 10 songs, including my number one, Take a Dose. He just is like, this is my latest, this is what I wrote, that this for Kenny. And I'm like, how are you doing this, you know? And then I can go in, sometimes I have to make minor tweaks, you know, but I never have to do any major overhaul of the song. So I'm just grateful. I'm in a space of gratefulness for this career and for this opportunity, January 18th, to include Shreveport in this concert. I think it's going to be something really special, and that's something we can be proud of.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I said I had the last question,
okay.
but I don't remember if I asked this. How long have you been in the music industry?
Wow. My first record deal was I can't have to add it up. We have to do some math. It was in 1987. I got a deal with Epic Records. I was in a group called Mannequin, and we worked with Charlie Wilson and Charlie Singleton of Cameo, but Charlie Wilson from the Gap Band. He was the most famous name. There was another guy named Ernesto Phillips from a group called Starpoint. Really great. All these people were super talented and mega at that time. The project that we worked on did not become a huge success commercially, but it was a success as in it was my start, and it gave me my first experience in the professional recording industry. You know, sometimes it's tough. People look back and you go, I wish that this has happened. I wish that had happened. I really don't. I'm grateful because I don't think I was ready. Sometimes we're not ready for the things that we think we're ready for.
Right.
But when I was ready, we had a For You and a Never Too Busy and a Take a Dose and all those things, you know. So everything in God's timing, so that the blessing is added and we have no sorrow. That's what we call it, you know, blessing without sorrow. We want to be able to enjoy every moment that we have of success.
Well, you heard it here first from Mr. Kenny Lattimore. Shreveport this Saturday, January 18th, from the times?
The time 6 p.m. Doors are going to open at 5, so get your little dinner prior to, get dressed up. You got a reason to get dressed up. I'm going to be in my tux. So come on out, and we're going to hang out. We're going to talk a little bit. I'll talk about my history. We're going to get the recording part in the beginning, and then after that, I'll just serenade you. We'll just sing.
At the Strand Theater. So be there. I will update you all on a flyer with the times, the location, the attire, everything that you need to know. I hope to see you all there. And this is Mr. Kenny Lattimore.